Okay, hello to the Tiddlerhood. And now that we've got this nice little setup where we can have a basic program in a Tiddler and have a run button that we can click on to run the program and have that program running in a separate window. That's nice. Before doing anything big, I'd like to do a little bit of cleanup here. This to me is a bit of an annoyance. The run basic program window is now just a template, right? So it's meant to be used to display basic programs using this template. Well, when we're looking at this Tiddler, we don't need it to be trying to run some program when it doesn't know what program to run. It's trying to run a program based on current Tiddler, and for this Tiddler, the current Tiddler is this guy. And well, if we look, this is not a basic program, so this is going to be treated as a basic program and is going to fail. And we don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this little bit of code right here. Copy that, and I'm going to add it to this guy right here. So that way the iframe will only ever show if current Tiddler happens to be a .bas. And let's close off our list widget. And that should, there, hide that basic console window. So when we open this Tiddler, there's no attempt to try to run a program that would normally be found in current Tiddler because this current Tiddler is in the program. So anyway, a little bit of cleanup. I kind of like doing that. Now, next thing that we could do is look at this. The whole advantage of being able to program basic in TiddlyWiki is ideally not reference anything else on the web. We should be able to create basic programs here disconnected from the web with this TiddlyWiki stored on a local USB thumb drive or hard drive or whatever, right? So what we want to do is we want to replace this inclusion of a JavaScript file from out there in the web and actually embed the JavaScript file right here. It's a big file, but TiddlyWiki can handle it pretty well. Now if we go and www.basic is on GitHub, and if we take a look at the list of files, there's our www.basic.js, and it's a huge amount of code. That's fine. We're going to copy that code. And we're going to go back here and we're going to replace, we're going to first of all, tell the script to not go get the source out from somewhere on the web. Let's get rid of that. And instead, we're going to embed that code right here. It's going to make for a huge TiddlyWiki. Well over 2,000 lines, I think. That's fine. That's fine. It's not something that we're going to open in TiddlyWiki ever. So, we can close that guy and hide it. Don't need to see it. And now, we got to wonder, is this still going to work? Good sign. It does work. And now, here's another thing I'd like to fix. Is if you notice, the window is not quite fit in perfectly inside of this area. So let's tweak things a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to here. We're going to tell the iframe, look, width, take up 100% of the width available. Not 1,000, 100. And for the height, yeah, same deal, 100%. Now let's see what that looks like. Well, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Except, well, no, there is no except. This looks great. This looks really good. And if you notice, www.basic has a certain screen size, right, that fits the area as best as possible. If the actual window is wider than what the screen size allows, it adds these little margins on the side. So the perspective is always kept the same. So how nice is that? So if you want to shrink down that screen a little bit for whatever reason to see more of other things, you can do that. That's awesome. All right, now that we've got that going on, is there anything else to do here? I don't think so. I think this is awesome. Now what we could do is you could decide that we don't want any margins at all, right? So let's reconsider things here. How was this set up? That was set up 640 by 480. And that's good. Yeah, there we go. Right here. Let's say we don't want those white margins around the program. So we're going to say position. And here's a little bit of CSS, absolute. Right? And we want the top to have, oh, it's not equals, it's colon. And we want the top to be at 0 pixels. And we want the left at 0 pixels. And now let's see what that looks like. Great. So now we don't have any white margins anymore. We're taking up the entire screen. Nothing wrong with that. But, yeah, if you look, well, the text is right up against the border. That's a little bit annoying, so we're going to revert back and not do what we did a while ago. Let's undo this. Let's undo this. Let's get rid of that. Save. And you know what? That's all there is to it. To set up TiddlyWiki as a basic programming environment. Just for the giggles, let's create another program here. Let's create a simple program called lines.bas, and let's create a little loop for x equals 0 to I think it's 639, and next x, and let's do a little line from position x and y0 to x 639, and I'm not quite sure what the max y is. I think it's 320. And let's make that color 14. Let's see what that does. Let's see what that does. Tiny little test program here. Oh, you know what? I don't like how that looks. So I'm going to see if this is plain text. There. What does that do? Okay. It does something. It's alright. But instead of 14, let's do random. Random. And now getting explain how these basic functions work, but random, this will just give us 0 to 14. There are 16 colors in all. Color 0 is black. Don't really want black, so I'm going to say plus 1. And we want to turn that into an integer, because decimals are not allowed. Let's see what that does. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Anyway, just goes to show that now we are all set up to create basic programs and individual tiddlers, and the infrastructure to get this working is contained in just 3 tiddlers, 3 infrastructure tiddlers, if you want to call them that. So that's all there is to it. For some reason I thought I would have another video to follow up, but that's it. I'm going to share a link to a TiddlyWiki that has all of this stuff in there, so you can play around with the TiddlyWiki instance or copy these 3 tiddlers into any other TiddlyWiki instance for you to do basic programs in your own instances. Anyway, thanks. Bye-bye.